Hi guys, I'm Alexi,
And I'm Lindsay.
and together we're a foreigner abroad.
And to tell you a little bit about us, we're travel bloggers from California. Just quit our jobs to travel full time for the next 18 months over 32 countries across the world.
You can follow our journey at aforeignerabroad.com or on Instagram, where everybody is, at aforeigner.abroad. And today we're going to be answering some questions for Retro Kolkata.
So stay tuned because it's about to get really bueno. How did the two of us meet, babe? And how long have we been together?
We met back at work, actually, which is where you're not supposed to date people. We met 5 years ago. Yeah, 5 years ago.
That sounds about right.
And we were doing a fitness program where we just worked out for 90 days. We got real ripped. And then I took my shirt off. She was like, hey, the IT guy is pretty interesting.
He had really nice abs, so no regrets.
Yeah.
All right, so next question.
Wait, when did our travel obsession begin?
You know, I would say our travel obsession began from the start of our relationship.
Yeah.
Because you were already so well traveled.
Mm-hmm.
I was not, but I wanted to be. So I had this guy who was kind of like a guide into experiencing different parts of Europe and challenging me, like, where do you want to go on our honeymoon? Let's try something unique. So we went to Fiji and New Zealand. But he made everywhere super exciting for me because at the end of the day, I had no idea what I was doing. So we've been 5 years going strong, and I would say every year we've made travel a key point in our relationship. All right, lovers, so what made you realize that you wanted something different than the average 9-to-5 job?
Probably not loving my 9-to-5 job to begin with. No, I loved my job, actually. I had a really good one. I had really good coworkers. But we didn't feel fulfilled. I wasn't getting what I needed. I was getting the money, which is great, but I didn't come home and go like, yes, today I did something amazing.
I would say, honestly, I was pretty in the same boat. I was a producer in the film industry, which sounds super glamorous, but it's very stressful.
It is.
And I know, here's a newsflash, I don't handle stress well. So, we really had some serious conversations about, is this really what we want out of life? And it honestly took us less than 10 seconds to answer no. So we both decided that maybe we should give full-time travel a shot. Because at the end of the day, what do we have to lose? Those stressful jobs are always waiting for us. But the world's a big place, and I felt like for us to not at least try to give this a shot and explore and make the most of it, we'd regret it for the rest of our lives. So we went for it. All right, babe. So tell them what made us want to travel the world indefinitely. Good word right there. And, put our plan into motion. Like, what was involved in all of that?
This is a big question we get a lot, is how did you get started? And we started the same way you probably would, which is by freaking out and not knowing what to do and doing a lot of Googling and asking our friends. But
I love
what
Google.
kind of came together
I really love it.
is we just listed all the places we wanted to go, and then we organized them in order of where we wanted to go and made a big old list. Said, all right, we have a list of what now? And then we just started breaking down, and I was a project manager, so this is kind of my gig. You take a big thing and you break it down into smaller and smaller increments so you can get it done. And so just taking your dream and being like, instead of praying, how am I going to travel the world? It's, okay, where are we going to go? Next up, how are we going to get from point A to point B? Next up, how are we going to pay for housing? Those kind of things. And once you break it all down, it's not as intimidating.
It's true.
What is your favorite memory from our travels together? That's a good question.
Wow, that is a very good question. I'm not going to lie. I must say, for me personally, it's quite recent. And it was our 4-day trek on the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu. Because it was so difficult, I'm not gonna lie. There were a lot of steps involved, and the steps are all very uneven. I'm talking like this big, and then like this big, but then like this big. So that constantly going up a gigantic mountain, it definitely burns the buns. But as you're going along, you're hiking, sometimes up to 11 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
But along the way, we would run into Incan ruins that you would only access if you were on this trail, which I thought was incredible, because that's a once in a lifetime experience that you get that you wouldn't have had, if you tried to take the train there or the bus. It's something you have to take that trail in order to experience that. It was really awesome to share that with you. And we found one place what's it called? I always butcher the name.
So it's Wine We Knew.
Wine We Knew.
And
tell them, babe. Tell them why it was our favorite.
Beautiful ruin. We got there midday and there's no one else there. It's just us, which is already primo. So we're exploring, we're having a good time, and then our guides go, okay, our campsite's 20 minutes that way. Let's go over there. So we go, we set up camp, we have a delicious dinner. But then after dinner, I'm like, hey, what if we went back to that ruin at nighttime? So I go over to our guide, Claudio, who's amazing. We go, hey, Claudio, can we leave for the ruins? He goes, yeah, that's fine, not a problem. Just make sure, you let us know, and you come check back in when you come back. So we go, and we talk up all the people, and we all walk out there, and it's only 6 of us, and we're walking along these ruins, and it's a full moon. The ruins are illuminated, so it's beautiful. But above us, you had the stars and the beautiful night sky, and then we're sitting there and enjoying the moment, and there's all this fog at the bottom of the valley. And then all of a sudden, one of the people on our tour was like, you guys, I think that's the train, because there's a train that goes to Machu Picchu, but it's coming through the fog, so you can kind of see it, kind of not, you can mostly hear it, and it was just a magical moment. It's one of those things, we can tell you all about it, but unless you were there, you can't really experience it, but it felt magical.
And it literally looked like a cinematic scene out of a movie.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at you and I was like, this is our life. That is awesome.
It was amazing.
So that was a moment I'll remember for the rest of my life. And that whole trip has left us speechless, so we should go. All right, darling. Tell us which destination has surprised you the most and why.
Out of this trip, we've only been to 2, but I'm going to go with Santiago.
I was thinking the same thing.
Just because I knew Santiago was a beautiful built-up city. I had no idea how insane it is. There are so many people here, but...
Which, by the way, that's where we are right now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's true. What's crazy about this city is that 7 million people live here, which is a lot of people. But they've built all these open parks and wide streets, so you're surrounded by people and they're all on the street all the time. It seems everyone's always outside, but you're not bumping into people, you're just enjoying it, and you're surrounded by life, and there's music everywhere. We saw a guy performing opera on the street yesterday.
Because that's normal, but it's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
The day before, we saw a band performing, and there were some dancers, and then Spider-Man came out, and those...
Yeah, we don't even know what was happening, but the things that we've seen have honestly blown us away.
Yeah.
And it really, I wasn't sure what to expect coming here. We kind of, at least, I think we both do this, kind of go into cities blind, which makes it a little bit more exciting for us because we don't have expectations. We just kind of let ourselves experience it on the fly, and it makes that experience all the more real. But this city's blown us away. I mean, there's a subway system. It's a very musical, lively city. Everyone's on the streets. Nobody's in their apartment. So I'm like, oh, it's my kind of place. And it's just, I feel like it's so alive in so many ways. And I really, really like that about this place.
Yeah, so we love Santiago.
Santiago, killing it.
All right, Liz, here's a fun question for you. Has our lifestyle presented any challenges?
The answer is yes. But it's not, not fully in a bad way. The thing with travel's super glamorized, but things don't always go to plan. So you have to be super adaptable and expect that. One prime example is even landing in Santiago. We always take Ubers everywhere. But we didn't realize that Ubers are illegal to and from the airport. Fun fact of the day. So we had the hardest time getting an Uber. Then we found one, but he was afraid of where to park to pick us up. So we're looking for this guy for like 45 minutes. Thank God, he was a sweet angel. I will keep his name unnamed, but he came and found us, parked his car, brought us to his car to take us to our home location, which was here. So he was a sweet gem, but that was just something that we weren't expecting. And when you land at 4:30 a.m., looking for your Uber for 45 minutes isn't exactly like the top on your list, but we made it work. So, travel, it keeps you on your toes, but it is worth it. All right, I like this question, babe. Where would you like to visit that you haven't visited before?
I'm going to take the hard answer here, because I could just list any of the countries we're going to visit.
I thought you were. You're throwing me off.
I know. I was going to say Japan, because I'm very excited about Japan. But we're not going to Patagonia this trip. We tried to, but the weather is bad. It's real bad there. Because it's so close to the Antarctic. It's early spring, which means glaciers might be crossing the landscape, they might not be. So we decided, hey, let's make it a separate trip. And so that's where I want to go next time. I want to do another South America trip because we're falling in love with this continent. And I want us to do Colombia, Brazil, Patagonia, all that stuff, and just really experience that. But I want to experience Torres del Paine, which is the southern part of Chile, where it's just so wild and so primordial, and it's just a place like nowhere else before. I've seen photos and it looks amazing, but everyone who's been says, here's where the photos are, here's where it really is. So I'm pretty excited about that.
And I'm gonna go with him because I'm his sidekick, so
yeah.
We're excited for that.
Alright, babe, what's next in our plans?
Spark Notes version, from Chile we go to Australia for 5 weeks, but Short Notes version, what's the opposite of Spark Notes? Whatever.
Long Notes.
I don't care. We're going to Valparaiso, which I don't know if you guys know anything about Valparaiso, but it is awesome. It's this colorful beachside city that's overlooking, like, it's basically built on these hills and cliffs in Chile. It looks a lot like Cinque Terre. That's what it kind of reminded us of. Via photo. We haven't been yet, so stay tuned. We'll let you know how that goes. But we have that next, and we're really, really excited because it's just all about culture there. We happen to be going for their Independence Day in Chile as a whole, which apparently is their favorite holiday of the year. So it's about to get wild in like a fantastic way. We've got some fun adventures. We have some sand dunes lined up. We're going to do four-wheel drive off-roading, right? We're not driving though, because we'll die. Or maybe, I hope. I
hope we're driving. She hopes we're not. So that tells you a lot about our driving.
I'm trying to stay safe here, so that's fine. And then we also have my personal favorite, wine and bike tours. Because when you're in Chile, the one thing you should do is drink wine. It's good for your skin. I don't know if that's true, but it's good for you.
Shameless plug. aforeignabroad.com. We have our itinerary there, and you can see where we are, where we've been, and where we're going.
I like that. So I'm having trouble remembering this question on my own, so I'm going to read this.
This is take 5. Go ahead.
What were some of the logistical challenges of planning long-term travel with your partner?
You nailed it.
AKA
nice.
Me. I'm really good at reading.
Time is a really, really hard thing to manage when you're planning travel because it's exciting, but you're also tired and you still need to do laundry and pay bills and everything else. I would say that was the hardest thing for us, is finding time to plan or travel. That was the biggest one. Because you want to see your friends, so you make plans on the weekends, and all of a sudden it's Monday morning and you haven't planned any more of your trip. So what we had to do, unfortunately, is kind of go on lockdown, and we would put in our calendar this Saturday, trip planning time. Tuesday night, trip planning. Our date night used to be every Wednesday, and so what we started doing is made our date night a time to plan our trip. And maybe have some wine, but also plan the trip and have a guaranteed focus time.
Which is honestly, it was hard, it was difficult because you want to see your friends, and we knew we were leaving, we wanted to see family as well, but all of the hard work that we put in on the back end has totally paid off, and we're 3.5 weeks into our trip now, and it's already one of the best vacations I've ever been on, and we're just getting, this is like the warm-up, so the best is yet to come.
Okay, babe, how many countries have we now visited together, and are there any standouts? I know the answer, but they do not.
All right, let's break this down, guys. All right, so we did Jamaica together. That was our first one.
Yeah.
Then we did France, which is where this freaking Casanova proposed in front of the Eiffel Tower, which every girl knows that's like your absolute dream. I didn't see it coming because I'm oblivious, but it was incredible. Then we did Spain after that, which was also incredible. For our honeymoon, we did New Zealand, Fiji.
Amazing.
That was also amazing. Then, I know we've done Canada because we're snowboarders, so we had to hit Whistler, of course. We've done Peru now, and Chile. So what's that put us at? 7? 8? I already lost count. But the thing is, we actually have 32 lined up for our world tour. So we're going to end somewhere in like the mid-30s by the time this is all done, which makes me feel awesome. But I would say, per what we talked about before, Peru is definitely up there for me. But a hard runner-up is hands down New Zealand.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's so much to do. I mean, we did river rafting off of a 21-foot waterfall. That was terrifying, but that was awesome. We did Blackwater river rafting, which is like inner tubing in a cave under glowworms. We saw hot springs. You name it, we tried it, and it was awesome. So yeah, that's my answer. What's been the most challenging aspect to traveling as a couple?
Ooh.
Besides being stuck with me every day.
That's a real tough question. No. Can you leave for a minute? No, I'm kidding. The hardest part is probably, I'm trying to think. I know what it is. You're tired and you're cranky. I'm speaking from personal experience myself. There were a couple of days where we had 4 days in a row where we had like 3 a.m. wake ups, and then we had to move and we had to travel, we had to go to a new place, we had to go to a new Airbnb, and you get tired and you get cranky, and it has nothing to do with the other person. You're just very unhappy, and that's the hardest part, is holding that back so that you don't snap at them, because they didn't do anything wrong. It's not their fault the Airbnb is not open. It's, you know, it's just the world. And so that's been really hard, but it's also been a really good learning experience, because we're getting much better at when the other person might be snappy, which happens to all of us. You don't take it personally. You're like, hey, I get it. Or her favorite, I'll be cranky. She goes, are you hungry? And I'm like, I am hungry. Huh. So that's actually been a really cool learning experience right there.
And he knows for me, he'll be like, do you want wine? And I'll be like, I do want wine. So that tends to, you know, we understand what one another needs in times of struggle.
What is your favorite part of living abroad?
Ooh, another good question. I love it. All right, let's see here. You know, I'd have to say something I love about living abroad is you really immerse yourself into culture. Mm-hmm. So we've made it a point, I mean, A, we were trying to save money, but also B, we've told ourselves it would be really cool if every week we actually food shop, going to a local grocery store, buying all the local produce, various products, whatever they're known for, and really eating like the locals do. So not only are we like living in Airbnbs in their city and really trying to just immerse ourselves that way, we're also, well, this is mostly him, cooking in the kitchen. I do the dishes.
It's all me.
But my dishes, they're on point. They're the cleanest thing I've ever seen. But we, you know, like for example, when we were in Peru, we were buying this bread called chauta that looks like a giant pizza pie, but it's super sweet. I mean, the bread lasted us like a whole week. We'd do like a fried egg on top for breakfast, or like butter and homemade jam. And it was one of the best breakfasts we've ever had, but that was local to that area, you know? So it's one of those things that's really, I love it because I feel like we're living as the locals do and really just embracing their culture, their heritage. And it's honestly, in my opinion, it's one of the best ways you can travel. And
I'm learning how to cook really well in the process, which is kind of nice.
And I'm learning how to eat really well in the process. So it works out. All right, Love Bug, what do you miss most about home?
That's a super easy one, friends and family. I don't miss our apartment. I don't miss my job. I don't miss, you know, the food or anything else. I miss the people. I miss the people that I work with every day. Actually, you don't think about that, but your coworkers, your friends, you see them every day.
I do too.
I miss my family. I haven't seen them in a while. We were video chatted last night. It was fun, but it's not the same. I miss her family. I miss our friends, and I miss seeing them. That's the hardest part about traveling, which is why we implore you, if you know us, come and see us.
Or FaceTime us more, because we love it.
Yeah, either one, but traveling is better.
Yeah, we definitely, and that, I would agree. It's, you know, it's hard to be apart from family, and you miss out on we're missing weddings, which is really hard for us. Some of our best friends are getting married. We're missing that. But it's kind of the sacrifice that you make to do this once in a lifetime trip. Because, you know, we don't know how long we have on this world. We hope we have a long time, but our philosophy is you just really don't know. So you got to live each day to the fullest. And if it means sacrificing a few things to be here and to see what we're seeing and to immerse ourselves in culture, then that's a risk we're willing to take. But we do miss you, fam.
Yeah.
We love you.
What's the greatest thing about traveling as a couple?
I love it. Well, besides you cooking for me all of the time, that's not my answer, but it's nice. I would say, you know, you immerse yourself in these cultures, you go to these countries, you really don't know anyone, and all I have is him. But I love it. It brings us, we already were so close, but I feel like we're so connected now, no matter where we go. I feel so safe traveling with you. I'm learning so many new things. Like, it's a known fact in our friend circle, I'm not the best with public transportation. Oh, I think I spit there, I'm sorry. But he has taught me so much already about subways and buses and just trying this thing called walking. It's really helping us out. But, you know, it's really exciting to go to these places that we know literally nothing about. Like, we have the cities down. We have some excursions planned throughout, but other than that, we're kind of going in blind. and we get to discover these places together.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. I love sharing that with you, and I wouldn't want to share it with anybody else because you're my best friend.
Aww, sweet.
I know, I'm pretty cute. All right, next question. What advice would you give to other married couples who want to do long-term travel?
We've only been married for 2 years, so I don't feel qualified to give marriage advice just yet. But what I've learned so far is it's the same lessons that apply to overall marriage. Communication, listen to each other, and share things with each other. You want to keep doing things that excite you and make you happy and that excite the other person. So listen to them. A big part of traveling is experiencing new things, which will bring you closer together. But make sure that it's things you both want to experience. And that's, to me, one of the best parts about traveling with this girl is that we do some things that I would never have done on my own, and vice versa. And it helps us grow as people. And so that's my advice: is talk about what you want to do, be honest about what you want to do, and then set your mind to it, and then do it together. Because then, not only do you have this amazing experience, but you also get this feeling of like, we did this and we accomplished it, but we accomplished it together, which strengthens the bond.
That was so beautiful. I don't even know what else to say to that. That was perfect.
All right, babe. Have you ever been to India? And is there anything you know about Indian art and culture?
Ooh. So the truth is, we unfortunately both have not been to India.
Okay.
But it is on our list. I know we talked about doing a round tube trip, where we hit up South America is a big part, as well as India. And I think maybe for him, Russia. He really wants to go to Russia. So I said we could definitely arrange that. But, India looks like it's such an incredible place. We haven't gotten there yet because it is actually really hard when you're planning for a trip this long. Even though you feel like you have an infinite amount of time, our promise to each other was the countries that we did pick, we wanted to really give ourselves sufficient time to really blend in with the locals, to understand the culture, to really just immerse ourselves completely. So most places, I think the shortest stay we're staying in a country is 2 weeks, all the way up to like 5 weeks, so that we can really, really embed ourselves. Problem is, when you do that, you actually kind of run out of countries, even if you're traveling for a year and a half. So unfortunately, India isn't on this one, but next time, 100%. I'll let you answer the back half of that.
Yeah, she meant we ran out of time, not countries. There's endless countries, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
But
he's so good with words.
Words. No, the thing about India is that, so it's something that we both really want to visit. I've wanted to visit for a long time, but it's a big place, and there's a lot of difference. And northern India and southern India are so different. We want to be able to make sure we can dedicate enough time to truly experience the culture. And so we didn't feel like we could just shove it in there as a 2-week trip. That just wouldn't be right. And there's a couple countries that we actually decided to push off for round 2, as she mentioned, so that we could truly immerse ourselves. We know a little bit about Indian art and culture, but there's a lot more we could learn, and we'd love to.
And that's kind of how we feel with every country we go to. We go in, as we mentioned, kind of blind, but then we experience the art and culture like on the fly, and that makes it super special for us. So don't you worry, India, we're coming for you.
So we shot this for Retro Kolkata, which is an initiative trying to combine national and international art and culture, specifically from an Indian perspective, with the rest of the world. And it kind of fits in really well with our initiative, which is the idea of going out there and experiencing more, and then realizing that the whole world over, everyone is so different, but at the end of the day, everyone is kind of similar. We're all people trying to make our lives and just enjoy time and learn more and be friends with other people and everything else. And we love the idea of combining cultures from all over the world and showing it to each other, so that all of a sudden you become a newer, better, bigger person. And we think that's kind of the greatest initiative you can have. Retro Kolkata asked us to address specifically like any of our Indian audience and followers. I would say Indian culture isn't as well represented right now on Instagram and other places as elsewhere, but that can be fixed and that can be improved, and we want to see that. We want to see a little bit of every culture. And so do your part, reach out to us or represent yourself or however you want to do it, but make sure you represent your culture and then immerse yourself in other cultures. And this way, we can all become better people.
So beautiful. And honestly, we're honored, to even be featured in the first place, but we are here to help. So if anyone has questions on how to build your career, or if travel's a passion of yours and you're kind of scared, like how the heck do I even get started? That's what we're here for. And we actually eventually long term want to start doing how-tos for people so that they understand that this actually is easier than you think. I know it looks daunting, but with the proper guidance and help, it's actually quite feasible. And we would love to give that to you. So, if you have questions, hit us up. Shameless plug, babe.
Instagram at aforeigner.abroad, aforeignerabroad.com, and then most importantly for you, contact at aforeignerabroad.com. Shoot us an email. Shoot us a direct message. We check them all the time. Our whole thing is to be connected with our audience, so reach out. We're there.
We're available. Thanks, guys, for having us. Appreciate it.